give y'all an update on my, first off, Lusher Brixer, for those of y'all just tapping in. I have been documenting my return to school. I am in my second year of my education doctorate program. And y'all, I have realized like I've been so knee deep in the work that I haven't been doing as many recordings. So before I head in, that's the tea. I'll give y'all more on that. I did want to just talk about a few things that I think is relevant to what we're doing in my program. So I'm taking 2 classes, as I mentioned before in a previous video. Second year, first semester, second year of the program. And we're doing a qualitative methodologies research course as well as our comps class. So we're working on the first several chapters of our dissertation. What I really like right now is that now we are really having to like double down on the frameworks and methodologies that we are preparing to use for our research. So just to reiterate, I am in an education doctorate program. And so what that looks like is it's a 3-member cohort that is actually writing on our topic, which we are researching efficacious, culturally responsive professional development. And so paired with the work that I do with my educational consultant firm, I really wanted the research to be very relevant to my interest and something that is going to help me upskill with the things that I do within the industry. So one of the frameworks and methodologies that we are looking at researching is how critical andragogy is embedded in crafting culturally responsive professional development. And so even when we break down critical andragogy is the actual structuring of adult learner. And you can kind of dig into it. But when we apply a critical lens, it is referencing how you actually take a look at how it's structured to embed an emphasis on understanding how race, power, and just, you know, the hierarchy of racial constructs matter when crafting professional development for K through 12 educators, and making sure that you are actually applying a critical lens to make sure that it is transformational as far as the content that is relevant to the adults, and that they also have an opportunity to self-reflect. And so I'm just really excited because in my qualitative methodologies class, I have had to really look at the questions that we are researching and framing our research around, and then also understanding how does our frameworks and methodologies tie into that. And so with my particular interest in critical andragogy, we also have cognitive behavior theory that's also being embedded in our study, and researching how does cognitive behavior theory, which is also a framework that insists that when we are very mindful of changing mindsets, that we look at how educators have had negative mindsets around students' abilities, and even, you know, their outlook on their students, and how we transform that with engaging them into like a positive reframing or positive restructuring of their views on their students. So cognitive behavior theory as it relates to andragogy, overarching with critical race theory. And again, I really like this topic, and I really like digging into our methodologies and frameworks, because I feel like there has been so much dissension around what is CRT, what is critical race theory, and how does that tie in. And what is happening as I am doing my contributions and research, and really applying critical race theory as an overarching framework of our research, and understanding that this ties into how historically and in the K through 12 practice, we have applied this racial hierarchy to professional development, and what the expectations are for our students to be learning, and how it shapes our thinking around students' ability. And so, again, just really excited to contribute to the field with intentionality and understanding that I'll share more on this about me being back in service, which I absolutely love. And what that looks like is I am teaching a English course at an alternative school, and I really see that when we have staff development and understanding that the student demographics in which we serve, which is, I would say, 80% Latinx student population, and knowing that majority of my students are ESL students, English second language students, and that our curriculum can be enhanced with culturally responsive material, but understanding that there has been a hierarchy and an emphasis on testing that it utilizes content that is not culturally responsive to our student demographics, which in turns, when the organization is preparing those students to take this test, it's still reinforcing this same hierarchy of material that is not culturally responsive to the students' needs. And so I feel like, having First Class Educator, my consulting firm, working in the field actively, doing the work, which we have some sessions coming up this week. I'm very excited for that. So having my consulting firm actively doing the work, contributing to the industry with researching culturally responsive or efficacious culturally responsive professional development, and truly understanding the different vectors or factors that make up an effective transformational program, paired with also being in service. Y'all, I'm loving life right now. And it really does take some self-reflecting to see how it all comes together, but also knowing and submitting to alignment. Going back to school, I did mention, was a challenge for me because I had never had a desire to go back to school. I never had a desire to be teaching English again. It's my first love. I'm very happy to be utilizing one of the best gifts that the Most High has granted me with. And so all of that to say, I wanted to tap in, tell y'all how my program is going. I'm going to give y'all more of the tea, okay, because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful alignment. I just want to make sure that I'm consistently documenting the process. So it is the end of October. I've had several papers that I've completed in both classes. And so we'll talk more about those, but I definitely want to make sure that I tapped in with y'all. Y'all have a beautiful morning. Just know, be in service intentionally. Never forget the why. I think that is what's actually keeping me and being okay with everything, how everything is flowing, how everything is coming together in alignment, and knowing my why of being in the industry, making sure that teachers have access to culturally responsive professional development that can enhance their practice. So that has led me to be in service and in practice. I've stretched my teaching capacity so much within these last couple months since August, making sure that I have my lessons available in both English and in Spanish. I think that is so dope. Being very mindful of my student demographics and making sure that I incorporate Latinx history into my lessons in a positive way so my babies can see themselves, but just doing all of the things that I know needs to be done so that my babies can be successful. And then now being able to share that as we move forward with the structure of our professional development and services. My team is already goated, my First Class Educator team. Shout out to them. A lot of the stuff that I am learning formally now in school, I learned informally through them, through being their students for some of my consultants that are on staff, or just watching them in practice. And it just all feels good. So I just wanted to tap in with y'all. Keep going. Keep loving what you do. Keep the fire lit, and do it. It's all about the babies at the very, very end of the day. So shout out to the babies. I'll tap in with y'all some more. Have a good day.